Outside of the WRX and STI models, not many folks would describe the Subaru Impreza as stylish or fun to drive, but it has proven itself to be plenty reliable over the years. It's more than capable of holding its own against segment leaders like the Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic, with the added bonus of standard all-wheel drive. And now Subaru is gunning even harder after the compact competition, with an all-new Impreza for 2017 that features a new design and driving dynamics to match. When it comes to the Impreza, it's not so much what's new, but what isn't new. And I know that sounds kinda cliche, but I can't think of a better way to describe this car. Something like 80% of its components have been swapped out since the last generation, with only about 20% carrying over. And it's mostly stuff you can't see, like clips and hinges, nothing that really matters to the overall dynamics of the car, the feel, the fit, and the finish. And that's what really matters about this. I mean, it's been completely overhauled from the ground up, right down to an all-new platform. And speaking of the platform, this is Subaru's all-new global architecture that it plans to put under every new car it's building moving forward, including electric vehicles and its pending three-row crossover. That versatility is important to Subaru, but what really matters when it comes to this Impreza is how that new platform improves the overall driving dynamics. It accommodates an all-new suspension setup that features double wishbones around back, and it just drives a hell of a lot better than the last car. It's a lot tighter, it's nice and stiff, and it has some real character. Cruising around these twisting roads outside of Monterey, California, you can really feel the improved dynamics aided by this new platform. The Impreza just handles so much better than the last one, and it's honestly as good, if not better, than most of the compact competition. It's nice and tight and nimble. The suspension absorbs a lot of bumps and road imperfections without you really noticing them. I mean, it's a pretty well held together package. Our tester does feature the available brake-based torque vectoring system, which does wonders in improving turn-in response. It's kind of interesting in how it works because you do notice it, but I don't mean in the sense that it's really jarring. How it works is that as you're rolling through a corner, you can just feel the inside brakes applied ever so slightly to pull the car in and keep you heading in the direction you want to be going without the rear end kicking out too far. It works really well, and I'm pretty impressed with it, especially in a commuter car like this. When it comes to powertrain, the 2017 Impreza is virtually identical to the last version of the car, at least on paper. It's got the same 2-liter boxer engine under the hood with basically the same amount of output, a slight uptick in horsepower, but that's about it. What really comes in handy though is the broadened torque curve, which gives you a lot more passing ability on the highway, and when you're merging, that you can put your foot into it and actually feel a steady increase in power as opposed to a plateau and then the engine dropping off. Transferring power to the standard all-wheel drive system is the same pair of transmissions available in the outgoing version of the Impreza. That means a 5-speed manual that's a little antiquated, but it still gets the job done, or a continuously variable option that isn't great, but it has been revised to feature a manual mode with 7 staged shift points to make it feel a little bit more like an automatic transmission. When you leave it in drive, it does suffer from that rubber banding effect that's pretty typical of these transmissions, but once you put your foot into it, it's pretty impressive in how it pushes power around. Stylistically speaking, the new Impreza has leapfrogged virtually all of its competitors and now easily ranks among the best looking in the segment. It's still available in both sedan and hatchback body styles, and the design language really translates well to either one. It's got really nice character lines, a really great looking front fascia, Great looking headlights and taillights. I mean, it's a really well-rounded aesthetic package. It seems like designers did err on the conservative side of things with this new Impreza, and you can see shades of the last generation Impreza, but it's still pretty handsome. But if the outside still looks a little bit like its predecessor, the inside is a completely new car. There's very little about this new Impreza's cabin that reminds me of the old version, and it's so much better for it. It features a really nice modern design with clean lines and a really clear view of everything that you need to see. Everything's well within reach of both the driver and the passenger, and it's just a really nice layout. It features a 6.5-inch touchscreen in base models and an 8-inch touchscreen in upper grade models. It still runs Subaru's Starlink infotainment interface, which I'm not crazy about, but it is vastly improved this time around for one big reason, and that's the inclusion of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on every available model. That means you can sync your phone to do things like access maps and messages and make phone calls, all while using steering wheel mounted controls or the touchscreen on the center stack. Other added bonuses of the Impreza's new cabin are a direct result of the new platform that underpins the whole thing. The wheelbase has been stretched about an inch, and it's about 1.5 inches longer overall and wider, which translates directly to more passenger and cargo room in both the sedan and hatchback. The hatchback we're driving has more than 20 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats and more than 50 cubic feet of space with the rear seats folded, putting it at the top of its class. The roofline of the new car is actually lower than the old version, but there's more headroom in both the front seats and the back seats thanks to the new platform that lets the seats be positioned lower than before. As you can see, I sit pretty comfortably in here with tons of headroom, lots of leg room. I'm really comfortable. The same goes for the back seats. There's more than enough room for 2 adults to sit back there, with an adult in the driver's seat and the passenger seat. With a new look and great new driving characteristics, the 2017 Impreza is improved on all fronts. And it proves that Subaru's compact still has what it takes to compete with the segment's best.